Hey everyone, happy first day of fall. Today is the first day of fall and I am finally getting to filling up my last garden bed at the moment. So I figured I'd show you guys how I fill it up for not a lot of money, much more cost effectively. If I were to fill up this entire thing with raised bed dirt, it would cost me hundreds of dollars. So that's just stupid. You ain't gonna spend that much money on dirt, okay? You only need that much dirt, 12 inches max probably would be totally sufficient. So the bottom 6 inches here, I'm definitely gonna fill up with, as you can see here, limbs and other debris that will compost down and turn into really great soil, but will also kind of bulk up this bed without having to spend all of the money and all of the volume on expensive raised bed mix. So step one would be, like I said, to fill, the bottom 4 inches, whatever, a good layer here. You can kind of, you can see here at the bottom, the sun will show. You can see where the hardware cloth is there, and like right there's the bottom of the bed. So, it's just not rocket science. Just throw a bunch of limbs, I go around my yard, I pick up all of the down limbs and branches and kind of do a 2-for-1, get a little bit of yard work done, and also get some materials for my beds. I'm all about efficiency. If I can get something to work for me twice or 3 times, then I'm all about that. So yeah, just any, there are a few select branches that you should not use, and I think it's like locust and black walnut, and I don't know, there's a bunch of other ones that, wouldn't be a great fit. But otherwise, most of the stuff like your pine and your oak and your stuff that will break down is great. Just go around, pick up all of your stuff. There you go. Okay, step one is to get limbs, branches, nothing too big. The bigger is the longer it will take to break down, obviously. But as it breaks down, you can see these are some pretty rotten out logs. They were giant at one point. Pine, it's pretty soft wood. It will decompose very quickly. But you can see this has been sitting in my yard for a couple years and it's like sponge now. So as you can imagine, this, as it breaks down, will all kind of become like this, very cellulose almost like, and will absorb a lot of water, therefore will act as a self-watering bed for you. And that will be very helpful, obviously, to manage your water consumption and to kind of keep the water supply even in your bed. Less watering, in a more even consistency of moisture, it is happier plants. So it'll all kind of break down like that, and this is really exactly what I want it to end up looking like underneath all this dirt, is this nice broken down cellulose organic matter, and the earthworms and all the other bugs will get in here, fungi, and this will start composting down. Obviously, act as a self-waterer. Another benefit is, as this decomposes, it generates heat. So in the winter months, it's particularly helpful because it helps to heat underneath the beds. So it's a really great technique, hack, if you will, to get some really successful beds. So after I get the bigger material, like branches and logs and stuff, I will put a layer of wood chips down. Here, ramp some here because I usually just wheel my cart up the ramp and dump it. But this is also a giant pile of wood chips I have in the front corner of our property, and it's been decomposing down for, probably about 4 or 5 months, and you can see it's really breaking down awesomely. It was free and is going to be a great resource to fill up this. So I'll shovel this now into here, and I will kind of work it in all the cracks. That's why the finer wood chips is a really great second step, because you can kind of work it in all the cracks. You want to try to leave as little amount of gaps as possible, because that will, make uneven settling and dips and holes, and it won't be crazy, but the more you can compact it in and get it really kind of totally filled in, the better. So I'm going to go do that now, and I will be back in a minute. All right, I got the wood chips all shoveled into the bed. Just kind of shovel it and throw it evenly-ish across the bed. You can see it's not quite even yet, so I'm just gonna go in here with my hand and I just go back and forth and work it down into the crevices and cracks. Sorry, I think I recorded this way. Yeah, crevices and cracks. And I even will go along with my boots. I recommend boots, in case there's things in here. But you're gonna just go along and just break up any big branches that are underneath and go back and just take any big lumps of wood chips and just sort of evenly shift it around. Even-ish, okay? Like, it doesn't need to be crazy even, just as long as you can kind of get sort of a layer. But as you can see, I have 6 inches now nearly that was absolutely free fill material for my garden beds that will end up breaking down and being excellent organic matter within the next year or so. I should mention that these wood chips I got for free. I called my local arborist. Any like tree trimming or probably not stump grinding, but any like tree trimming or arborist service. If you call them and ask them if you can take some chips off their hands, they will be more than happy usually to dump them off at your house, because they have to figure out how to dispose of them. Usually they end up paying a landfill fee. And so just call, ask them. I just call and I say, hey, I'm interested in getting, in my case, a couple dump loads full of wood chips. If you have any hardwood, clean, like disease-free loads, please let me know. And usually they're really good about it. I ask for diseased-free because I don't want a tree that is obviously diseased to be put in my garden. But most of the time when people just want trees taken down because they're not in the right place or might be dangerous or died because they fell over in the wind or whatever, I don't know. That's still going to be your best option, is the disease-free. And I just do hardwood. I ask for hardwood. Doesn't really matter for this. Actually, pine would probably be best. But hardwood I use. My entire garden paths I have mulched with these free wood chips. And hardwood obviously is best for that because it will last longer and decompose less. I want less decomposition on the paths, more on the beds. But beggars can't be choosers. It all works the same. All right, now that I have the wood chips, sorry, I have a plane flying over my house. And you probably hear all these little guys in the background. They're very active. It's nice and cool, and so they're all over the place today. Now that I have the wood chips down, I will go and I will bag up some fresh grass clippings, and I'll come back and show you how I do that. I should mention that my grass is organic. We do not spray any synthetic fertilizers or pesticides on our lawn. If you do so, I would not recommend using it for your gardens because it can kill and poison your plants and your family. So if you don't have that, then you can just do nitrogen. You can buy nitrogen fertilizer in the garden center and substitute that. But I'm gonna go get some free grass clippings because, as you can see, I have a lot of grass and a lot of clippings. Again, all free. So I'll come back and show you guys that step. It'll be step number 3.